welcome to another reaction video for the day. This is after I posted the Poofessor video, and this is going to be Mr. 1-Ups ranking all the Paradox Pokemon, and just like I did with the last video. There we go. Now let's get to this.
You've all had your chance to play the games. We all know what the...
I'm going to separate this into a two-parter. Save space on my phone and shit, but hope you still enjoy.
Game is saying. We all know about the absolute freaks that the great big hole of Paldea has chugged it out. And that last adventure in Scarlet and Violet was one of the best hours in all of Pokemon, because I can't believe in 2022, Pokemon has managed to create tension, and it's partly because of these new forms. And thankfully, most of them are looking fresh. Almost as fresh as the Scran you can cop yourself with HelloFresh. HelloFresh is there to help you eat easy to follow recipe cards, and before you know it, you're finding yourself with anything from steak and spuds to curries, burgers. Might be easier to list what it doesn't have. So go to HelloFresh.com and use
that code to help support this awesome YouTuber. Now let's get to the actual video.
Code Mr. 1Up65 for 65% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com, code Mr. 1Up65 for a wham 65% off plus free shipping. Hadn't the slightest clue what was going on. It wasn't the usual predictable narrative. Soon as you get jump scared by that wham Jigglypuff, you know you've not got much time left on Paldea, so they're gonna get real freaky with it. The atmosphere, the music bangs, roaming uncharted territory with the group of friends you've made along the way. I didn't want it to end here. This felt like it should have been the intro to a game like XD or Colosseum, where you'd get to go off and have a whole game traveling across the different universes they came from. You only see a surface level amount of the potential this concept has. Probably 2 more big uns by the time I whacked this video out. I didn't realize how effective naming Pokemon like they do in China would make them feel so much more out of your depth. We've got Caterpie being called Green Caterpillar level names right here. Just having spaced out titles alone gives you the sign that something's gone wrong here. So here I am, finally getting around to ranking the 16 currently known Paradox forms. Many ways you could go about with this gimmick, not even from the same universe, and they conjured up an Amoonguss who looks like it's just clocked out of a long hard shift at cleaning Reggie Giggs' feet. When the professors were doing these experiments, they must have known they weren't going to be catching Koraidons every time. The ancient past or billion-year future is not immune from hosting a clapped specimen or two. They had to have known when they were shoving their giant fishnet full of Master Balls through time that they were potentially using a Pokeball that cost millions on a billion-year-old Spearow. They're not all going to be insane variations, realistically. You might only reach into a universe that's like 2 blocks down from our one. Well, how's the catching going? Yeah, not bad. I managed to catch this one. He's like a Paradox form of a Poliwhirl, but he's a cube in his belly. You shake him, he works like an Etch-a-Sketch. I've also got this one. There's some potential here. It's like a fighting type Alakazam, but he's in a vest, and he holds a belt. Now, this one's a bit of a bust here. This one's like a golem, except it's just an actual golem, and he has a big sticker on his back. He's just been running around in circles for the last 20 minutes. Brute Bonnet is
awful. Yeah, I might split this up into 2 parts, since it's a long video.
Unique set of Pokemon. It feels like a complete henchman. Low IQ, savage fighter. Like a neighborhood of dogs being set off after hearing a firework. It's looking as if it biologically has zero control not to get violent after hearing the phrase, "Yeah, get 'em, boys." By nature, destined to be a goon. Even by design, looking like they're meant to serve. Getting bullied by Great Tusk. They're always keeping one handy by the sofa like they're Bart Simpson. "Here, brute boy, you can hold my beer."
2 grilled chicken burritos, 2 bold flavors, $2 each. Only at Taco Bell.
The common complaint everyone seems to have about Violet's side of the Paradox forms is that they all just look like Pokemon from the timeline when Dr. Eggman wins. Violet is what happens when Kotoba gets his act together. Alright, Sonic, I'm not pissing about roboticizing squirrels I found down the playground anymore. I'm done. I'm getting up there in age. Hope those running shoes are steel toe caps, because I'm cooking with Tyrannosaurus now. Easily the worst of the Ironmons. Ironmons. Sounds like Barbados Slim talking to Tony Stark. A machine Hydreigon that could only ever spawn through billion-year-old technology looks low poly enough to spawn on a PlayStation 1. Hydreigon is like seeing a Final Fantasy VII boss fight. Iron Jugulus is how they'd have to make it look in the overworld. You're trying to tell me someone in the future went out of their way to make Mecha Hydreigon only for it to replace the Dragon type for flying? Not on. By design, this is an intentional nerf. You know, maybe that's what they're going for. It's a long time coming. They're a trio.
At least it's not 4 times weak to fairy like its present-day counterpart.
Of menaces. Society got sick of Hydreigon and its 3 heads tearing up all their living room furniture and nicking a few Steve Weisers out the fridge. Because day-to-day people, they can't do anything about it. They can't handle a Hydreigon. Realistically, no one's got some level 60 Pokemon lying about their back pocket before you'd need to call in a top 10 trainer in your country to handle Hydreigon. Like getting mugged on the street and your only option is to call up Francis and Ganon. The flying types. Perfect. Now in the future, you can chuck rocks at it. It's a very intuitive form of defense. Very big in the meta for survival back in Koraidon's day. Even your kids can handle themselves against one. Bashing something into a rock. You just can't beat the classics sometimes, can you? It's the perfect nerf. Even a fly zapper on the front porch could do him in. It feels more like pest control. Maybe Hydreigon was too powerful and risky to just outright get rid of in a mass extinction. But roboticizing enough of them so their dragon type becomes flying, maybe it's just enough to set them down the pathway for devolution to do the rest of the work. Eventually turn it into something completely useless. Screamtail is one of my least favorites, but I can give it some credit for how unsettling it was to see for the first time. I mean, I'm desensitized now, very desensitized. It looks much more approachable with the completely reskinned Jigglypuff 2DR. But venturing down Area Zero, in Scarlet at least, it was the perfect prelude having Uncanny Valley Jigglypuff to be the first one you see. Because if these little goblins are roaming the outer crust of Area Zero, then what kind of mighty bush specimens are crawling along the lower levels? Next cutscene, I'd be bracing myself to get jump scared by old Greg, Paradox Jinx form, because it seems similar enough to Jigglypuff, obviously. Like, I'm pretty sure it would still sing you to sleep. Less Ed Sheeran-y though, more Cannibal Corpse vocals this time. Get
Oh, I can see Screamtail singing death metal.
really mad at you and draw all over your face. Only this time, with a knife. Not just twice as terrifying as Jigglypuff, it's well over twice the height. Their oxygen levels back then. Ancient Jigglypuff is almost a foot taller than current Wigglytuff. Monster gains to be had 1 billion years ago. Ancient time atmosphere built with that oxid trend. Old Jigglypuffs roaming the streets tall enough to go on the same rides as Lucario. If it figured out how to evolve back then, we'd be seeing ancient Wigglytuffs that's eye to eye with Golurk. Be built like 3 belly bolts in a trench coat trying to sneak into a cinema. Iron Hands is an interesting one. The theory here is that there was an athlete who became mortally wounded and became a cyborg to be kept alive. And they're unsure why it resembles Hariyama. Only way this makes sense is if the athlete was some Russian test tube experiment with hands like frying pans who rattle people in slap tournaments. So I'm imagining this was just for any human athlete. They took a bad injury while competing, like, well, the bad news is your insurance doesn't have you covered for the Hariyama treatment, but we could turn you into a Diglett. I'd be more than happy to cheat death. Much appreciated being kept alive and all. Cheers for that. I'll get the next round and all that, but I can't lie to you. Gotta be straight with you here. I'd be fuming. I would be fuming if you Robocopted me into a Hariyama. Out of all Pokemon. Like, alright, okay, fair enough. I'm very fortunate enough that my insurance didn't have me down for the Dustox plan. But you could have at least made me a Machoke or something. I mean, calm now. Iron Valiant exists in this world. If I ever get roboticized, you can turn me into any Pokemon, and you make me a Hariyama. As soon as I figure out how to use these hands, you'd be getting the dirtiest fake out. There'd be nothing fake about it. You'd be getting standing ovation level claps. It's really, could you imagine that? How would you not be fuming? This athlete better have been a goalkeeper with gloves like that permanently welded to him. I'd better have been an elite athlete, like in the Premier League, NFL, something like that, for a solid 10 years, saving up millions for my Mecha Hariyama retirement, because no one wants to be a broke Hariyama on the streets. Robocop at least got back on the job. Here you're gonna have to go from...
There were people talking outside. Sorry about that. I have neighbors.
World Cups to crushing cars into cubes. Like an Omastar case where it was too heavy to move and got itself wiped out. Sandy Shocks showing us a rare case of an ancient Pokemon being a genuine form of devolution. Your man Magneton, he had to use a pair of walking magnets before it figured out how to float. And oh, lordy lord, here he comes. We love a good wacky walking cycle.
I love how it walks.
Sandy Shocks slinked about so Toadstool could John Lennon 10,000-year lifespan. My man, you've got to come off the stabilizers at some point, at least by like age 500 or so. Come on. Understandable why it has the walking sticks, a caveman magnet during a time where no creature had the mental capacity to process what magnetism even is. Looks at its own reflection and starts freaking out, realizing its body is fused together like a pair of voids. It's interesting to see what came first in Pokemon.
Oh, that's what those little magnets are called. I had a pair of those before, and they were really fun.
Creature or the invention? At what point during this thing's 10k lifespan were the perfectly cut screws noticed? Humans of the past just struggling keeping things together with ropes and dog shit like, oh nah, that's a sick idea. What do we do? Why do we do that? I do kind of rate Iron Treads. It's an interesting interpretation of Donphan, but when you're comparing the two Donphan paradox forms, Great Tusk has a huge presence, an ancient...
Yeah, I feel the same way. I love both Iron Treads and Great Tusk, but Great Tusk looks cooler even though I like the Violet Paradox Pokemon.
Kingpin. Iron Treads would have a huge presence in your living room, acting as an oversized Roomba built for home security. Great Tusk looks like it was built to win wars. Treads looks like it was built with Alexa installed. Compact.
And real quick, I think it's really cute that when the Paradox Pokemon fall asleep, they go into a shutdown mode type thing. It's really cute and adds even more personality to them.
2'11" build, all-in-one family device. Can clean your house, be a security system, give you the question of the day. Great Tusk takes 0 orders. Iron Treads directly takes them through an app on your phone. Can understand needing a Master Ball for Tusk. With Treads, it's no bother. I reckon you could buy a pair of them with Ethereum. But I have to give Iron Treads some credit here. Your man actually uses his tires, said to be some kind of weapon using technology not of this world. You know what this means? To me, it's sounding like Iron Treads are just the Brute Bonnet of the future. The former Great Tusk, kingpin of the Brute Bonnets, and devolution has led it all this way to becoming the henchman of the future realm. The power dynamic is flipped. Now I reckon Iron Thorns has taken the helm of being the kingpin over the henchman. Your man even looks built to hold Iron Thorns' bevs while he's on the sofa watching the galactic footy. You could unroll his tire into a flat table surface. Iron Treads? Nah, mate. Iron Cloves. I understand the robot complaint for Violet's half, and Iron Moth is the exact definition of what if Volcarona ran on batteries. So you'd think Iron Moth would be the worst offender for the robot criticism. But they made the right call to not make any heavy-duty changes to the original design. The base aesthetic already suits the Iron gimmick so well enough as it is. It's like they took your standard model of Volcarona and refined it into a DS Lite. I can't really tell how much more powerful what this future variant is? To me, there's no middle ground. It either enslave humanity or get put to sleep by Homer Simpson in midair, said to be a UFO controlled by alien life to observe the Pokemon world in preparation for an invasion. So actually, you're not too far off the hit-and-run camera bees then, are you? Reckon Homer could probably do in an Iron Moth if you handed him a bit of salsa. Those wings would be getting picked off like it's a Dorito share bag. If there's any evidence that Paradox forms aren't specifically to improve a Pokemon, it's gonna be Iron Thorns. You're not making Tyranitar any stronger. Already has the Mega, it has the pseudo-legendary status, it's already peaked. It's as weaponized as it'll ever be in history. The only thing stopping Tyranitar from being as powerful as it probably should be is a front cover. Mecha Godzilla is a banger concept, but it's not impressing anyone when you already have the big man himself. It's nowhere near the downgrade Iron Jugulus seems to have slapped on it, but you've gone from one of the most feared creatures walking the planet to an alarm clock Ash would have next to his bed. You used to lamp mountains till lava would spill out of them. Now it's just a lava lamp with no more pseudo-legendary status and the same type combination as Turkish Barber Golem. It's still one of my favorite future Pokemon, because everything else around the idea is a banger. Mecha Godzilla Tyranitar is easily one of the best Violet Paradox forms. The exact kind of gimmick they should be doing for this. And as much as I do like Volcarobo, they definitely fumbled something there, and not have Mothra for Volcarona. Look.
Alright, I'm gonna end it here and do this in a part 2. See you guys there.